Welcome to the Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Mikey.
And I'm Andrea.
All right, guys, we're going to review this past week's Raw on April 30th and SmackDown on May 1st. So let's get into it. Let's first start with our Raw review.
Okay.
So this week on Raw, first of all, we started out in Montreal, and the crowd there was crazy. And to me, fans there were super loud and cheered for the things that the hardcore fans really love to cheer for, and they cheered really loud for them. And the things that people, like the hardcore fans are not a fan of, like they booed them extra hard. Case in point, the opening thing was Roman Reigns started out first, and when Roman Reigns entered the arena, he was getting booed hard. He was getting booed really hard. And the whole announcement team had to mention, like, oh, we're in Montreal, guys. It's just like the WrestleMania, like the show right after WrestleMania. It's always a really international crowd, so they boo who they normally cheer, and they cheer who they normally boo, and that whole thing. And they were chanting Roman sucks. But then when Roman gets in the ring, he says that he's the rightful champion because the ref messed up, and because his feet technically hit the ground first because Brock was still on the cage. And then, he brings up the whole point. Again, another thing that people are kind of sick of is, he's like, oh, well, Brock's not here, and I am. It's like, okay, we get it. Like, yes, like, we really are, like, tired of the fact that Brock's never on the show, but we're tired of you always bringing it up. Like, if you're not getting a win out of it, then you're losing all the time. It doesn't really have as great of effect if if you at least got a win at some point.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then we got a little video screen of Samoa Joe up on the Titantron there saying how he's going to beat Roman at Backlash, and fans popped for Joe. And then we had Jinder Mahal interrupt, and then he got booed really hard. I think on this whole show, he was the only guy from Canada that was getting booed. Everybody else who was from Canada, got cheered for really big.
Yeah.
Especially Sammy and Kevin later on in the show.
Yeah.
But anyways, Jinder here, he interrupts and says that Roman's going to lose to Joe. And then, Jinder Mahal wants to fight Roman Reigns, but then Sami Zayn comes out, and then that's when the crowd goes crazy. Like, they're cheering super hard for Sami when he gets in there, and then he wants to fight Roman Reigns. And the fans are going crazy for that. And then, but then we get Kevin Owens. He comes out to the ring, and the fans go even crazier for Kevin Owens, because when he comes out to the ring, he starts speaking, that French Canadian. And then so the fans start going crazy, and they're chanting we instead of yes. They're chanting we. And what else? So I mean, overall,
we did that with Sammy too, or Sammy did that too.
Yeah, but I mean, this is where it started.
Okay.
And then Kevin gets in there, and he wants to fight Roman Reigns, and then so he does a popularity contest, like, oh, who do you guys think he should fight? And then he does a little crowd reaction for Jinder, and then a crowd reaction for Sami Zayn, and then one for himself. To me, it seemed like they definitely cheered the loudest for Kevin Owens. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought they cheered the loudest for Kevin Owens too, and I thought the crowd was going wild.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We didn't get any of those single one-on-one matches at all, because they decide to attack Roman Reigns, but then Bobby Lashley comes running out to help him save the day, and then Braun Strowman comes running out to help them fight off the three other guys. And then we eventually get a match made for later on that night.
6-man tag team.
Yeah, 6-man tag between these two group of three. What did you think of this segment overall?
I enjoyed it. Well, I think the crowd made it even more enjoyable.
Yeah, actually, that's what I was going to say too. Is I think it was a well done segment, but just the fact for how awesome those fans in Montreal were, it just made it that much more enjoyable. When you're enjoying something, when there's other people who are like really enthusiastic about it, it just, raises your level of excitement for it as well.
Right. Yeah, it kind of reminded me like they're like they were acting like they were like at a football game or something.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
that crazy.
Yeah. So next up, the thing we got up here was Elias versus Bobby Roode. Then the match ended here with Elias actually announcing himself as the winner because at some point Elias kicked Bobby Roode in the throat, and then they were actually having a really good match overall, I thought. And then the way they ended was Elias slammed Bobby Roode into that corner on the outside, and the part that holds the rope together to the corner ring, smashed his chest into it, and then Bobby Roode couldn't breathe, and so the ref stopped the match. And Elias, like, I thought it was a good sell on Elias's part to go grab the mic from the announce tables and announce himself as the winner to just kind of further the fact that he's kind of a bad guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about the fact that, his opponent is hurt. He's still going to say, well, yep, look, I'm the winner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was interesting. Was Bobby Roode looked like he was for real hurting there.
Yeah, there for a little while it did look like he was actually hurt.
Choking.
Yeah, he could have been at some point, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So maybe he was just like, okay, well, this is taking forever, so I'm just gonna go ahead and, announce that he won.
Yeah.
But, whoops. Sorry.
What did you think of the match overall?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was really good. Because just of the fact that Bobby Roode got so seriously hurt.
Yeah. And I thought
which he could possibly have got. I'll have to look that up to see if he got really hurt.
Overall, the match itself was really good, I thought.
Because I was like, oh my gosh. He's not breathing. He's for real not breathing.
When Elias picked up Bobby Roode and did kind of like a power slam, but he like threw him like a quarter of the way across the ring, I thought that was like really good. It just showed how strong Elias is. Because I think sometimes people forget because he's always like wearing like his little like outfit he wears when he comes out to the ring, like the kimono and like whatever else he's wearing. It kind of covers up his muscles, but he's actually like a really big muscular guy.
Yeah, he is.
Like when he takes off like his shirt and stuff, you can see like, oh wow, that guy's a really big guy. So like when he does moves like that, when he throws Bobby like halfway across the ring, it's like, oh yeah, that guy is a strong guy. He's not just like a silly character who does like silly songs and stuff. He's actually really strong too.
Yeah. He is quite muscular.
Yeah. So that was that. And then the next thing we got up was a squash match here. We had AOP versus Jean-Paul and Francois.
Yeah.
Some jobbers from Canada, and they gave him the most stereotypical French Canadian names they could have given him, and they even got their own little like segment before the match started though. So I thought that was pretty funny to see these French Canadian guys like totally living up the French Canadian stereotypical name and look and doing accent and everything. So I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And then the match itself was good. I feel like they're doing what they did with Bludgeon Brothers. They're doing that with AOP now. Like they're gonna probably set them up for a month or two of just going against jobbers where they like squash them in a matter of a minute or two to help make them look really strong. So that way when they have matches against the other real tag teams, it'll be they'll people will be like, oh yeah, well these guys are really strong, this is going to be a good match, which I think they will be, but they want to build them up a little bit first, just to for the people who haven't been watching them on NXT, like people the people who just watch the mainstream stuff will be able to be like, oh okay, yeah, we get what these guys are about, like they're really strong.
Yeah.
What did you think about them? And then they cut a little promo after their match was over in the ring, and they were on the mic and yelling, that they were going to beat everybody and whatever other language they were speaking, and I don't know.
Yeah. I don't remember it.
Mm.
I can't remember this one.
Yeah, well,
I
it was
just remember
short.
those jobbers coming out.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was good, and then I think they could use some more work on the mic because they kept like yelling into the mic, but they were like they'd start yelling and then they would move the mic away from there. They'd have it like up here by the face, but then they'd move it away from their hands, so then it was like kind of a little bit harder to hear them all of a sudden. So they could work on that a little bit.
Yeah.
But next thing up after that, we had Seth Rollins come out. Fans were going crazy for Seth Rollins as well because he's been doing such good work lately.
Yeah.
He mentioned something about the fact that he doesn't want to be a champion like Brock Lesnar. He wants to be a fighting champion where he's on all the time and not just there every once in a while. And this got a couple of boos. It was hard to tell if people because they were booing Brock Lesnar or like they were booing the fact that like, okay, yeah, we get it. Like WWE really wants us to not like Brock Lesnar and really like Roman Reigns. So it was kind of hard to tell exactly what that booing was for. But they got a little bit of booing. But then Finn Balor comes out. He says, technically matches that Finn Balor and Seth Rollins have fought against each other. They're 2-2. They each won 2. So Finn Balor wants another match with him and wants it to be a title match. So the fans vote yes, like they're cheering crazy for it. But then the Miz Taraj enter. Then they get out to the ring, they reveal that they're wearing shirts with all 4 of their faces on it, and they're like, oh, there's 4 of us. We could be like the 4 Horsemen. This was a group you probably don't know, but they were like started back in like the 80s. It was like 4 legendary guys who had a faction together, and they kind of dominated, for quite a while.
Oh, well, I assumed it had to do with like the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. But yeah, that's what I went for.
Right.
When they said that.
But are you aware of the wrestling group that?
No, I am not aware of them.
Okay,
no,
okay.
I am not.
Okay, that's what they were referencing. Ric Flair, and Ric Flair was actually in that group, so
cool.
That gives you at least a starting point. But that's the kind of reference that they were making. Seth and Finn say no, and then they beat them up, and then Finn Balor ended up hitting Seth Rollins with the title, and then like kind of leaving the ring, and then Seth Rollins kind of like smiled at him and was like, okay, yeah, you got me there. So what did you think about that?
I thought it was good. I mean, I always like, well, first of all, with Seth Rollins coming out, I think the crowd and how wild they went over Seth Rollins just coming out, and you can see Seth Rollins just soaking that all in, and it's always nice to see these wrestlers get like appreciated, and I imagine it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then overall that whole bit, it was pretty good, and of course Balor coming in and be like, no, we're still, we're not really friends right now. So
yeah,
it was for scenes, but that's what I thought.
Okay, yeah, it was good. Next up after this, we had Ruby Riott versus Sasha Banks. I wrote down on my little notes here actually that this was a really good match. I feel like this was Ruby Riott's best match that she's had so far. Since she's been on the main roster. And I thought it was just really good overall. She looked really good in the match. She got a little bit of help from her teammates, the Riot Squad, but overall, like Ruby Riott, like showed to me that like, okay, yeah, she's definitely got a future in the WWE as a single star. Like, I don't know if they really need to have her in a group, but she's really good.
Yeah, I thought it was her best so far too, and to see her win against Sasha, it was It felt good. I mean, like, you don't really see her win that often, so it's good.
Yeah, it seems like, especially at the end of the storyline that the Riot Squad had together at the end of their time that they were on SmackDown, it seemed like they were just kind of being used to lose to, like, the storyline they were involved in was, like, Charlotte was beating them all on her way to, like, showing that she was, like, strong enough to beat Asuka. So they, I don't think they have gotten a win in a while. So it was good here, especially for Ruby Riott, to, like, not just get the win, but, like, look good, like, look strong while doing it.
Yeah.
She didn't just, like, she did get a little bit of, like, help from her teammates, like, getting some distraction in from Sasha, but, like, it wasn't, like, so bad that I was thinking, like, oh gosh, like, the only reason why she won is because her teammates helped her out. Like, she looked like she was legitimately could beat Sasha on her own.
Yep.
Okay, next up after that we had, this was a good segment.
What was it?
I think Alexa Bliss is doing a great job with her whole moment of bliss thing that she's going on, and this one was the one where she talks about going to Disney World with Naya, and she's like, oh, yeah, but it was so bad because Naya was just making short jokes the whole time, and she kept asking all the attendants there if I was really tall enough to go on the rides, even the teacups, and they're just teacups.
Yeah.
And then she was like, and I can remember Naya, she had a turkey leg in each hand, and she was just laughing in my face.
Yeah, that was silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see more of those.
Yeah,
I guess. For not just for Naya, but for, like, other people too.
Yeah. I think it's really good, but I think they're focusing on Naya because Alexa and Naya have a feud going on right now, and Naya just beat.
Well, just for the future.
Yeah. I could see her doing more for the future, especially because they're gonna fight at Backlash, and then if Naya continues to win and keep the title there, I could see Alexa, like, keep doing these announcements for a while, saying, like, oh, here's this. And then recently when Ember Moon got called up, Naya did a match with Ember Moon together. Then I could see Alexa start branching out and, like, saying stuff about Ember Moon, and then maybe eventually Ronda Rousey and everything. So
yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was good. And turkey legs, that's, like, I've never been to Disney World. You went to Disney World all the time growing up, and that's, like, a thing, right? Like,
Not all the time, but,
we went quite
pretty
a bit,
often.
quite more than most people go. But you had, like, that's a thing at Disney World, right? Isn't that, like, one of the things is, like, they have big turkey legs there?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They're like these cured turkey legs, so it tastes like you're eating ham
Okay.
off a stick.
Yeah, so I thought that was, like, a funny visual that Alexa was like, oh yeah, she had two, like, she had one turkey leg in each hand, and she was just scarfing them down and laughing at my face while she was making short jokes. And she was, what did she say? She was like, she said, oh, she turned the happiest place in the world into the most saddest day ever, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was interesting that she brought up Disney World.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was, Disney.
Yeah. And then, next up we had a little backstage promo with Titus O'Neil. And they replay that Titus O'Neil falling underneath the ring again. Anytime
over and over.
Yeah, anytime I see that, it just makes me laugh. And I like the fact here that he kind of, like, was just joking around, like, oh, no, I meant to do that. And he was like, no, I'm just kidding. Like, I had no, I didn't mean to do that at all. I don't know what the heck happened. I just fell, but I got back up. So that's the important message there. But
it'll be memorable.
It is. Oh, it's definitely going to be remembered for a long time. I mean, WWE can't stop replaying it. So Vince McMahon obviously thinks that it's hilarious because they keep showing the replays over and over. And, Vince McMahon is actually in charge of the whole direction of the show. So he's probably like, oh my gosh, look at Titus O'Neil. He fell under the ring. We got to play this 1,000,000 times.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But then, Baron Corbin also, like, interrupted at the end of this little promo here and was
I
like,
couldn't hear it.
Yeah, it said something dumb anyways, like, oh, people are talking about you falling when they should be talking about me because I'm serious, whatever. Baron, the normal bad stuff that they have Baron Corbin doing. But after that, we had Matt Hardy. He did a little promo here where he was showing all the pictures of him and Bray Wyatt throughout time and space. Their essences going through time and space, and he was like had a whole bunch of pictures of them like photoshopped into like historic moment pictures.
Yes.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought it was funny too.
Yeah. And I follow Matt Hardy on Twitter. You should too. If you go follow him on Twitter, like a bunch of people have started just like making their own Photoshop pictures and putting Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy in there, and then Matt Hardy is like retweeting them all and being like, "Oh yeah, look, everybody else has found these lost pictures too of us throughout time." So his Twitter is actually like really funny right now too.
Okay, I'll have to do that then.
Yeah. But then next we got a match that was Jinder Mahal, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn versus Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, and Braun Strowman. I noticed here Roman Reigns started out the match, and they kind of like did a tag in, tag out every like before they actually fought. Like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn kept tagging each other in and out, and then not actually fighting Roman, and fans were like cheering for that. And then once they actually started fighting, every time it seemed like Roman Reigns like hit one of them, like they booed every time that Roman Reigns landed a hit.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought the match was a good match itself. Like everybody performed really well. And the other thing I noticed here was, because Braun Strowman's obviously the biggest star in WWE right now. Like when he got tagged in, the fans in Montreal went crazy for him. He did his little thing where he like runs around the ring and bulldozes everybody over like a semi truck, running into them. And at one point, Kevin Owens because it happened to him last week, he like steps out of the way, but then Braun Strowman runs back over and like grabs him and like throws him into the guardrails there.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good.
I thought it was good too. I think that was like the highlight of that whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and then Roman Reigns. I think they're all really good performers. I guess, Jinder as well, but I don't see him that often perform, so I don't really know.
Yeah, he's not known for being the greatest performer, but over the last year, he's gotten better.
Okay. So, that, and then, of course, Braun Strowman, who's, like, all ready to get in there and, like, just all super pumped.
Yeah.
Testosterone going.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, so I don't know if I mentioned, but Reigns, Lashley, and Strowman did end up getting the win there. But yeah, overall, it was a good match. Next up, we had Baron Corbin versus No Way Jose. Again, this is another thing where Baron Corbin, he's talking about No Way Jose not being serious. I still don't like his look. I don't
I know.
And then like fans were quiet too when he like got on stage and he was like coming down to the ring and he was like saying whatever he was saying about No Way Jose and like, oh, you're not serious, and it's obviously that like stuff was written for him to say. Yeah. Because he was like reacting, like when he was saying his lines, it was supposed to be like he was reacting to what the crowd was doing. But he was like, oh, fine, go ahead, you guys boo me. But like nobody was really booing, nobody was really saying anything. It seemed like they were just kind of quiet during this portion because I think most people didn't care. But I guess he had a script he needed to follow but it really didn't work. Like he
needs to improvise.
Yeah, like
he needs to work on improvising.
Yeah, he's either got to improvise or they just need to really give him something better, and he needs to like cut his hair and change his pants so that he won't look so goofy. But yeah, anyways, with the match here, what actually happened is Baron Corbin was actually kind of in control, but then Titus O'Neil's music hit with Titus Worldwide, and then like Apollo Crews and Dana Brooke like came down and they were like wiping down the bottom of the ring for Titus O'Neil so he wouldn't slip in, and they made sure he was extra careful. And then Titus O'Neil got up on top of the apron, and then he slips and falls and kind of Baron Corbin laugh and get distracted, so No Way Jose takes advantage and gets the win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think of this?
Well, do you think it was just mainly for the play for Titus O'Neil to go in and pretend to fall off the highest rope?
Yeah, that's kind of what it seemed like. I think No Way Jose and Baron Corbin are actually having, a decent, okay match. But again, just didn't really like, this storyline doesn't interest me at all.
No.
And I guess it was, and doing the fake fall wasn't that funny to me.
No.
Yeah, I just didn't find it that funny, but I guess that was part of the thing to show a distraction for Baron Corbin, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Next after this, we had Mickie James versus Natalya, and Bliss was with Mickie James, and Natalya had Ronda Rousey with her. At a point during the match, Bliss is trying to, run a distraction to help Mickie James, but Ronda stops her and then starts chasing Alexa around, and then she tries to run up the ramp and escape, but then Nia Jax comes out and starts chasing Bliss around, and so she runs like the other way and out into the crowd and runs away, and then Natalya ended up getting the win here, and then Nia ended up getting into the ring, and she kind of did like a little like stare down of respect of Ronda Rousey for a moment, so you thought like maybe like, oh, are we gonna get something here? But then Nia raised Ronda's and Natalya's hands like in victory, so nothing yet, but maybe they're teasing something for the future, that there'll be a match between Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax some point down the line.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Although it seems a bit obvious.
But what did you think about the match here?
What did I think about the whole match? I thought it was good.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Okay. So next up we had our main event of the night, which was Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins, again for the Intercontinental title. And overall, I thought this match was really good. These guys always put on good matches when they're in the ring together. Seth Rollins ended up getting the win here, but I thought the finish of this match was really good. There was a lot of false finishes where, like they would each, do finishing moves on each other, or just barely miss doing a finishing move on the other one.
Yeah.
I like the one point where Seth Rollins, like one of his signature moves is he does like that suplex off the top rope, and then he picks him back up and does a Falcon Arrow slam to them and then pins them there. But in this one, because before WrestleMania, when they were having a match, he did that to Finn Balor, and then Finn Balor, right after the suplex, he rolled Seth Rollins he rolled them up in a roll-up pin. But in this match, Finn Balor reverses it by getting slammed in the superplex, but then when Seth Rollins picks him up to do the Falcon Arrow, Finn Balor reverses it, and he does a Falcon Arrow on Seth Rollins, who obviously then kicked out, but I thought it was like another creative way to do a reversal.
Yeah, that was creative.
Yeah.
I think it's always cool to see them do those kind of things.
Yeah. So what did you think about this match overall? Like, I think this was definitely, it was a main event, but, sometimes whatever is the last match of the night doesn't necessarily make it be the best match, but I think these guys did do the best performance of the night, like match-wise, like performance-wise in the ring. It was really good.
I think so, too. Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you think about Seth Rollins retaining the championship and keeping it?
Well, I figured that would happen. So maybe at like a bigger event, maybe he'll lose it. Maybe not.
What made you figure that was going to happen?
Because why would they have him lose it right after, whatchamacallit, what was it called?
The Greatest Royal Rumble. Because now when you look at it, like, look at the Greatest Royal Rumble, nobody lost the championship at the Greatest Royal Rumble. And I think that's because it was in Saudi Arabia. They wanted to put on a big show in Saudi Arabia because they were paying them a lot of money. But literally nobody lost the championship on that show. So it seems like it was almost more of like a house show that we just happened to get to see on TV because nobody lost any titles. And it makes sense to me that they didn't do it there because that was, if you watch it live, it was on a Friday at 9 o'clock our time, not 9 in the morning our time, or if you're on the East Coast, it was at noon, their times when it started. And if you're really going to want to do title changes, you're going to want to do it like when most of your audience is able to watch. So it makes sense that they didn't do any there and that they would do them after that.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Seth Rollins would keep that title.
That's good.
Yeah.
What did you think about Finn Balor getting a title in the future? What's it going to do for his character now? Do you think they should keep feuding or?
No, I think they should stop feuding. I like them both.
Yeah. So who are they going to have matches with then? Like, if you don't want them to have matches with each other, who would you like to see them having matches with?
Do I have to think about that now? That's going to take me a while.
Yeah, see? Just...
So, let's see. I don't know. Maybe, like, the bad guys. The heels.
Oh, yeah, which ones? Like, if Finn Balor's not going to have the champion...
Maybe they can go against, Brock Lesnar?
The two of them?
No. Just each individual one.
Oh. But Seth Rollins already has an Intercontinental title. He's probably not going to get to go for the Universal title while he's holding an Intercontinental title.
Then he'll have to lose it at some point.
To who? That's what I'm asking you. Like, who is he going to feud with next?
I don't know. I have no clue. Nope. Can't really think.
Oh, okay.
No, I'll have to think long and hard about that. You can...
Yeah, you think long and hard about it. I like seeing them have matches together. So let's move on to SmackDown. SmackDown on May 1st. We opened up the show with Paige. She says that Shane McMahon won't be there because of the injury he sustained at the Greatest Royal Rumble when he got slammed through that table when he was thrown out of the ring by Braun Strowman. And then she also tells us that the match between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura is now going to be a no disqualification match at Backlash. That way they get a definitive winner and there won't be anything crazy like what happened at Greatest Royal Rumble. Like no matter what, one of them will leave as like the winner and we'll either have AJ still be champion or Shinsuke Nakamura will become the champion no matter what happens. So does that excite you more for their match, or
no?
Does it make you any more excited?
No.
No.
Because we've been seeing them constantly feud, so it's like, okay.
Okay. You're probably one of the few then.
Okay.
Let's move on to The Miz. The Miz came back to SmackDown here. He does Miz TV. He bans Daniel Bryan from coming on Miz TV. He says he's not going to have him on. And then he says that he's going to beat Seth Rollins at Backlash to win the Intercontinental title back, so that he will be tied for the most times won on the Intercontinental title. And he's, pretty close to having the record for how many days he's held the Intercontinental title total. And then so he brings out his next guest, which is Jeff Hardy, and he starts asking Jeff Hardy about himself and if he thinks that if he's going to beat Seth at Backlash, and Jeff is like, oh, well, is this what you brought me out here for, to talk about you? And he's like, well, I just want to know what you think. And he's like, well, if you want to know what I think you're obnoxious. And
yeah.
Then Miz brings out Randy Orton next, and then he tries to kind of start a feud between Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy, and they're not going for it. And Randy's like, you know what? I'll do the RKO when I want to do the RKO, not when you tell me to, not when the fans want me to. Like, I'll just do it when I want to do it. And then Jeff and Randy both kind of beat up The Miz, and then Shelton Benjamin comes running out and does an attack here. What do you think about this segment, the first one, Miz TV on SmackDown, now that Miz is on SmackDown?
I like it. I always like seeing his little, whatever you call it, little promo things that he does.
Miz TV?
The Miz TV. Well, yeah. And I enjoy that Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton weren't phased by it at all. They did a good job about not being phased about it.
Yeah. And then, like you said, and you brought this up too, and then I did it in the rundown where, you know, Miz like kind of brought up the fact like, oh, well, you were number 9 on the superstar list, and then, you know, WWE, I think this was their way of finally saying like, okay, yeah, we messed up. That was like a dumb storyline, because then Randy was like, you know what, like, I don't care, and I don't think anybody else cared about the top 10 superstar list. So I think that'll probably be the last time we hear any mention of that.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Are they going to try to bring it back?
No, I don't think so. I think they heard the fans loud and clear that nobody thought it was good.
Oh, gosh.
So next up, we come back from commercial break, and then we have a match between Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton, and they're going against The Miz and Shelton Benjamin. Jeff Hardy and Randy got the win here. Right after they get the win, this is when Randy Orton decides to do a RKO on Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's how that match ended. So, you know, Randy Orton does strike out of nowhere here and gets Jeff Hardy in the end, and, you know, setting up the feud for, you know, Randy Orton wanting to win that U.S. title back.
Yeah. I thought the match was exciting. Yeah. I like Jeff Hardy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. He's always one of my favorites when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. He's still pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is.
Still pretty agile.
Yeah. Yeah, for a 40-year-old guy or however old he is now. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Next up, we had a little segment between the Iconics and Carmella. Iconics were on the screen first, and they were talking to Renee Young, and they were, you know, Peyton Royce was like trying to do a Canadian accent, and Billie Kay was like, oh my gosh, I'm closing my eyes and it's like there's 2 Renee Youngs in here with me. And then Renee Young's like, that's not even a Canadian accent, that's a Minnesotan accent. And, you know, they're like, oh, whatever, they're the same thing. And then Carmella comes in, and, you know, they kind of tell Renee Young like, oh, why don't you go chase a moose or something. And I thought it was good overall. I like the characters that the Iconics are playing.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, they're enjoyable. They're entertaining.
Yeah, they are. Their jokes are kind of bad, but, you know.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're supposed to be bad because they're laughing at their own bad jokes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so. But yeah, they are entertaining.
Yeah.
Just to see what they'll come up with next.
Yeah.
How they're going to tease everyone around them.
Yeah. And then we got a little video package up here next of Daniel Bryan. It was a WWE.com exclusive video where they're showing him with his chest all beat up from the Greatest Royal Rumble, and he's talking about how, you know, he got that because Roderick Strong was giving him some really strong chops. And then I heard somebody else mention too, like, he was in the match for over an hour, and there was like quite a few times where people were like almost throwing him over the ropes. So like a lot of that from his just was probably, you know, his chest like rubbing up against those ropes, because they're actually not like, they're not soft or anything. Like, they're actually like hard, like ropes and stuff. So like that probably helped make his chest get all red like that too, rubbing against the ropes the whole time when, you know, he's like, people are pretending like they're trying to throw him over, and he's like trying to like hold on. Probably messed up his chest.
I imagine those ropes have some grip to it too, just because I just kicked the mic.
No, come on, tell us your story.
Anyways, just because, you know, they have to use the rope so much for their little stunts.
Yeah. But yeah, like, but they said that, you know, he wasn't gonna fight tonight because he wasn't medically cleared. Because of that, they were, you know, afraid of him getting like an infection on his chest. Now, how do you feel whenever they say, you know, like, oh, Daniel Bryan wasn't medically cleared to wrestle? Like, do you get worried about it, or are you like, oh, it's fine, he's wrestling, like, it's probably just a storyline?
I think it's just a storyline.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was just part of the storyline too. It was an excuse to give him some rest after having a long match like that just a couple days before. But I saw that, you know, there were people, like, because of his history and concussion history, like, there are like fans who were like legitimately concerned, like, once they heard that just the words say like he wasn't medically cleared tonight, like before, like even in that split second before they said because of, you know, his chest. Like, people are worried, like, oh my gosh, like, he's not medically clear. Oh no, like, we're gonna lose Daniel Bryan again. So,
No.
but to
Well,
me,
that injury had nothing to do with his head, so
yeah,
he's fine.
yeah, and to me, I'm not like really worried about it. Like, I feel like Daniel Bryan's back. He's back. Like, I'm not like that first night he came back and he was doing those yes kicks, and then the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn started beating him up. I was kind of worried, like, oh gosh, you're taking some hard hits. Like, this is your first time back. Like, let's go slow. But
Yeah.
now that he's back, like, I'm just glad to have him back. I'm not really worried. I think he's healthy and he's gonna be good to go.
Yeah. Me too.
So after this, we had another great segment here where the Bar, they're backstage and they're talking to the New Day, and they're like, oh, what happened? You guys said you were going to win the Raw championships and go back to Raw, and the Bar, they're like, oh no, you know what? We always wanted to be on SmackDown, so we're okay with it, and which is not what they said the week before. And then we got some great stuff here, where Big E grabs some. He's like, oil me, and somebody hands him some baby oil, and he just starts like rubbing baby oil on his chest for a while. And then they have some guy bring them pancakes, and the Bar knock their pancakes on the floor, and Sheamus is like challenging. They're not doing a tag team match here, but Sheamus wants to challenge one of them one-on-one himself, and then Big E gets in the face of Sheamus like that. He's like, you done did it now, because he's all mad about the pancakes. And this is something I want to say, that I feel like the WWE superstars, performers, they don't get enough credit for their acting that they do, but for Big E to do that was really good. It was really funny. And then for Sheamus not to start cracking up laughing, he had to really keep his composure, because I was laughing watching that on TV. So for Sheamus to just keep his cool and be like, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about Xavier Woods, like, I thought that was really good, because if somebody did that in my face, like, I would just start laughing hard.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
They are quite comical.
Yeah.
And I remember, what was it? My mother and my sister were here when they saw that little bit. And they're like, oh, I don't like this. This makes me uncomfortable. And I'm like, yeah. I can see how it does make you uncomfortable, but it's all for show.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Next up, we had a part where Big Cass comes out. He's spitting fire, like, on the mic, like he's delivering all his lines with fire. But the segment here, he brings out the little person, and he's like, oh look, it's like Daniel Bryan, he's so little, like Daniel Bryan. Oh, it's Daniel Bryan. I just feel like he's doing a good job of delivering lines, but again, this is another case of WWE writers, like, they just must not have anything more creative to write. Because like, overall, like, it didn't make much sense to me, and I didn't like it makes Cass obviously look like more of a bad guy, because here he is, like, this 7-foot something guy beating up a little person, but I just didn't feel like it was like very creative. This is something that we've seen dozens and dozens and dozens of times in WWE, like, throughout the 80s and 90s. So it's just like, like, they're redoing old things where a really big huge guy beats up a little person. But because I couldn't think of something original to come up with for this storyline, but I feel like they should, because Big Cass is actually, people had a lot of doubts about him coming back, because he wasn't really that great of a character in the past, and he was getting help from Enzo Amore when he was teamed up with him, and now that Enzo Amore has been out of the WWE, people didn't know if he could do it on his own, but I feel like he's doing really good delivering the lines. They're just not, like, they didn't give anything good to him here tonight.
No, just made him look pretty evil.
Yeah.
For beating up on somebody.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's fine. They want him to look evil and bad. That's what he's supposed to be, but I just feel like the lines themselves weren't.
No, they weren't.
Very good. And then next up, we had another promo here. We only had 3 matches throughout this whole night, because we got another promo here. We had AJ Styles. He comes out. He's in the ring. He says he does not want to apologize to Shinsuke Nakamura, obviously, because he's been low blowing him all the time. And then Samoa Joe says that he's going to take the title from whoever wins the match on Sunday at Backlash between them.
Mm-hmm.
And this distracts AJ Styles, so Shinsuke Nakamura runs in and gives another low blow again to AJ Styles, and then he does a Kinshasa on AJ Styles as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was good. I always think they're good.
Yeah.
Together, especially.
Yeah, I felt like Shinsuke did a really good job of selling just how crazy he's become in this little part here, because he like faked a Kinshasa once on AJ Styles, but then he does do it after that time, so I thought it was good.
Yeah.
So next up, we finally get an actual match. We had Sheamus versus Xavier Woods, and I felt like this was a good match overall. They put on a good performance. Xavier Woods got the win here.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is just setting up a feud in the future for where we'll get actual tag matches between the Bar and the New Day.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think so. Because both teams are really good, put on good performances.
Right. And right now, what the Usos are focused on, what is it?
The Bludgeon Brothers.
Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah. Well, for the past year, like all the good matches on the tag teams have been between the Usos and the New Day. So I'm glad that they got the Bar over there now, and that they've built up the Bludgeon Brothers, because now they have a few teams that they don't have to just have one storyline for the tag team titles. Like they can have another tag team storyline going on that isn't even about the titles, but still have good matches with them.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville here. They're talking, they're making fun of Becky Lynch, and Paige walks up, and like they're asking Paige like, "Oh, hey, so which one of us is it gonna be?" And then Paige is like, "Oh, it's gonna be you, Mandy," and she's like, "Oh, great, so I'm getting the title shot." And Paige is like, "No, I'm not giving you a title shot. You're gonna fight Becky Lynch next week." And she's like, "Oh, well, like, don't you want, like, since you're our leader, don't you want to give us some, special privileges and give us a title shot?" And Paige is like, "No, you're gonna have to earn it. And by the way, guys, I'm not in Absolution anymore. I'm a GM now. I'm not gonna be in your guys' group anymore."
Yeah.
So what did you think about this little segment?
Yeah, I thought it was good, just to give some closure to Absolution.
Yeah, I felt like that was good too. Yeah, I felt like it was good. Like we did need some closure, because I didn't want to see Paige like give them special treatment because she was part of their group. I thought that would kind of like drag the storyline down. So I'm glad that Paige won't be a part of that anymore. She's not giving them special privilege, and then Mandy and Sonya will just have to go out on their own, do their own thing. I wouldn't mind if they stay a tag team. But then maybe that gives them some more single matches on their own as well, because I think they've both like been really good performers since they joined the main roster.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And then after this, we had a little video package of Zelina Vega saying that Andrade Cien Almas is coming soon. The rest of the fans, we don't know when. She says they know when, and you guys will just find out when they get there. So yeah, that's good. I'm excited for Andrade, and I'm excited for Zelina, because I feel like she's really good on the mic at performing that way. And Andrade is really good inside the ring, so I think he's going to put on some really good matches once they have him in there.
Yeah.
And then, last but not least, we ended the night with Becky, Charlotte, and Asuka versus the Iconics and Carmella. And I thought this was a really good match. What did you think about this match?
I thought it was a really good match.
What were your favorite parts of this match?
I think it was the part where Asuka won the match.
That was your favorite part? Yeah. I thought there was a couple of really good high spots in this match, like one where Becky Lynch, like she jumped off the top rope and did like a drop kick to one of the Iconics. And then there was two times where Charlotte, there's one where she jumped over the top rope in the middle of the ring and did like a crossbody to the outside. And then there was like a second time where she was like, she went to the top rope, the top turnbuckle, and did like a backflip moonsault off the top rope, and did like a back like clotheslines to like it was Carmella and Billie Kay maybe. Anyways, Carmella and one of the other Iconics, and she took him out that way. I thought that was a really good spot there.
Yeah, That was good.
Yeah, and like you said, so for Asuka, I was excited for Asuka in the way that like they made her look really strong here. Like once she got tagged in, she looked super strong, and like she like had no problem taking out her opponent that she had in there, Peyton Royce, and then she obviously submitted her. So she looked really strong, which is good. I feel like they needed to do that after making her lose at WrestleMania. But then the problem is, I don't remember who was saying it on the announce team, but I rewatched that match like 3 times now. And at the end of the match, one of the guys is like, and I wish I could remember who said it, but they said like, "Oh, this looks like this starts this could be the start of a new undefeated streak for Asuka." And I'm thinking, you can't start a new undefeated streak. Once you've been defeated, you've been defeated.
Yeah.
You're not undefeated anymore. You could start a new winning streak, but you can't have a undefeated streak anymore because you've been defeated. So that storyline is over. And I just feel like, again, like WWE writers messed that up. They're still messing it up because even though Asuka had a really good match here, there was no storyline really behind it. Like, it wasn't any part of a bigger storyline. Like, you're not going to have like, 6-man tag matches between women's be a storyline. You have to have some one-on-one matches. So until they actually put her in a one-on-one match that is a part of some feud and has a storyline behind it, like I still think they're messing it up. Even though she looks strong, I think that's because of herself on being a good performer, not because of whatever the writers are doing.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, with that bit, maybe he was joking. The announcer.
No. Like I said, I've watched it 3 times now. Like he was being serious. He's like, "Oh, this could be a new beginning of a new winning streak for Asuka." Like he's like excited about it. It's like, now, technically, guy, think about it. You're not starting an undefeated streak because you've been defeated.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a great main event for SmackDown as well. Like just like Raw had a great main event, like this was a great main event. Like they ended the show like a really exciting match.
Yeah, they did. I thought so too. Yeah, that was really good for, the very last match. That was very exciting.
Yeah.
Because they don't always have, like, exciting last matches.
Yeah. I remember, maybe it was because I was a kid, like I thought everything was exciting to end the night, but I always remember growing up, especially in the Attitude Era, like every match, like every week, like the main event of the week, the last match of the show, like was always exciting. But like, yeah, it seems like now there's always like, it always seems on quite a few shows, like the last match wasn't even the best match of the show, which, you kind of want the last match of the show to be the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe they didn't do it on purpose because the women wrestlers are just so good.
Okay. Are you ready to talk about something else now?
What? The women wrestlers are just that good.
Yeah, they are so good, but that's why they should be on last.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's why they did it on purpose, but I'm just saying that sometimes it seems like it's not always the case anymore where the best match is always on last. Like it seems like back in the day the shows were more well put together from they are now, because
I wouldn't know.
It seems like more often than not now, like the last match of the night's not the best match of the show.
Yeah.
But I'm glad this week it was for both Raw and SmackDown, because that's the way I like it to be.
Okay.
So that's going to be the end of the show. So thank you guys for checking it out. Please, if you're, listening through a podcast, whatever you're listening on, rate, review, and subscribe. Especially if you're listening on iTunes, go ahead and leave a comment over there. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and comment below and share as well. Yeah, thanks for checking us out.
Yeah, thanks.
That's the end of our show.
Do we have any recommendations?
Recommendations? What would you recommend?
Probably turning off all of your devices before you go to bed so you can go to sleep faster.
Here she goes. It's not even to follow her own advice, but I think that is a good idea. You're probably gonna, right after this, I know you're going to bed, and you're probably gonna be having your phone in your hand as you go to bed. But I'm glad
Not
that's
always. Not always.
I'm glad that's your recommendation, though. I hope
I have to turn on an alarm, so tonight I don't have to.
Oh, okay.
So I don't need to have my phone in my hand.
Oh, okay. That's good. We'll see here in just a few minutes if that's the case or not. But yeah, I recommend. We haven't seen it yet ourselves. It's been out for a week, but I recommend Avengers Infinity War. We are going to go see that in the morning tomorrow. So that is what I recommend people go do. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. We are going to go check it out, and then maybe we'll let you guys all know what we thought. Yeah. Let me show you here.
What?
We actually did a SmackDown live review as well that we.
You forgot to change it.
I forgot to change the card again.
That's okay.
We'll go back to the end of the show here, but yeah, guys, thank you for checking it out.
Yep, thanks.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.